It looks like a lot of rappers are finally starting to wake up. A lot of rappers are currently realizing that they're worth way more than what they signed to their label for. A lot of rappers are now realizing that they in fact don't need a label. And you already know what I think about this. I'm a very much pro-independent kind of guy. So this...
Facts, bro. You do not need no label. All these niggas making it out on YouTube, bro, all millions of views and stuff, and they getting the same amount of shit you are. You do not need a label.
Right here definitely puts a smile on my non-existent face. Now, NBA Youngboy is the person who inspired...
Bro. Look at this nigga. Girls say this nigga is the sexiest nigga alive. Look at this nigga.
This video. The other day, he put up something on his Instagram that made me think about this exact topic that I'm going to talk about in this video. And this is what he said. I said they can have all the next 4 albums free. All I want is my masters, and still got told no. Dirty game. Now the they in this case is obviously his label, and what he's talking about right here is having ownership of his own masters, aka owning the rights to his music. Back in 2017 when Youngboy signed to Atlantic,
he don't even own his music, bro. His own fucking music.
Records, it was reported that he signed a $2 million deal for 5 albums. Youngboy was of course hot at the time, that's why Atlantic Records ended up signing him, but looking back at it now, I think we all can say with confidence that NBA Youngboy did not know his worth back then. He signed a contract with his label worth $2 million. Now let's not play, okay? That's some good money, 100%, but in relation to the amount of money Youngboy is most likely making today, and you know how much his brand is actually worth, absolutely not. Since I'm a YouTuber myself, let me put it to you like this. With the amount of views Youngboy YouTuber myself,
you got an ugly ass cut, boy. It sounds like I'm hating on this nigga right now. That cut is ass though. That cut is fucking ass.
Let me put it to you like this. With the amount of views Youngboy gets on his YouTube channel,
Facts.
I can with conviction say that he's getting multiple millions of dollars just from his ad revenue alone. And no, I'm not talking about in a year. I'm talking about in the matter of a couple months. If you know anything about the way he does things,
hella money from the
these
videos,
phases where he drops a bunch of music videos in the span of a couple weeks, and pretty much all those videos hit like 10 million views each very effortlessly. And I'm only talking about the music videos here. Don't forget that the audio versions also rack up a whole lot of views as well. He didn't get crowned as the king of YouTube for no reason. The kind of numbers he gets on his platform is out of this world. Now I say that to say Youngboy greatly underestimated his potential. Even though he was doing fine in 2017, that was only a year into him being recognized in the industry. And compare where he was back then to how big he actually is right now, and there we have 2 completely separate universes. In the post that I showed you earlier in the video, he told his label that he'll give them 5 albums for free, and all he wants is the rights to his masters. Now, why wouldn't his label give him the rights to his own music? Number one, they obviously have the right to decline it because he signed a contract giving away his rights in the first place, which is something that's most likely costed him millions on top of millions on top of millions. I know that because now 3 years after being signed to Atlantic Records, he's trying to negotiate his way into owning his masters. And number two, they're making so much money from Youngboy. His brand is beyond lucrative. Why exactly would they agree to any of it? Now, recently, Russ did an interview where he gave his 2 cents about this NBA Youngboy situation, and this is how that conversation went. NBA Youngboy recently posted that he tried to give his label 4 free albums in exchange for his masters. I saw.
Hey, 4 free albums, bro? Them niggas do not want to take that. Like, let's just think about this here. Youngboy free four albums. You know you finna make fucking money off of that shit, bro. And all he do is get to own his music, get to drop whenever he want, bro. If I was an album, bro. See, that's the thing about these labels, bro. Like they don't care about you, bro. They just want your money. They don't give a fuck about you at all.
that. See, that's the game. At the end of the day, when you don't own your stuff, people can say no. It's a business. They don't have to give you back. It's sad, but my advice to him would be to not renegotiate the deal. Don't sign off for more albums. Whatever albums you have left, put them out ASAP and get out of the then go indie and flood with 3 or 4 albums on a TuneCore type of service or any digital distributor. Build up that independent catalog. Someone like NBA Youngboy will make $1 million in a month. If you happen to be one of those I hate Russ people, I'm gonna need you to, just for this video, put your biases aside and soak up all the knowledge that he's dropping right now. You don't have to like him as an artist, but the truth is he's extremely successful and has pretty much mastered how to make a big bag as a rapper independently. Which brings me to that. Russ is, as of June, a newly independent rapper. He signed a contract with Columbia Records back in 2016, but it wasn't a regular contract, it was more of a partnership. This is a guy who had an extremely big catalog of music out before the Columbia Record partnership / deal. He partnered up with them to experience that side of the game, and he succeeded because he was able to own his independent catalog of music during that process. He built a whole lot of connections in the industry through working with them, and at the end came out 10 times bigger and 10 times richer. And right now in 2020 he is an independent artist, which is a big W. Something I really want to emphasize in this video is you don't need a label in 2020 as a rapper at all. That mentality is 1000% outdated. You don't have to follow the pre-written blueprint that so many rappers have followed in the past and will keep on following because they either don't know better or, you know, they want to sign to a label for whatever reason. It's not about being right or wrong because, to be quite frank with ya, there's no right or wrong path, but there's options. And
I'm just, just saying this for, I don't know if anybody that want to rap watching this video or not. You never know who you're talking to. But just to let you know, you can make it on your own, bro. You can be independent. It's just hard work and dedication, bro. But you do not need no contract. You do not want to sign that shit.
The independent way is an option a lot of rappers are afraid of living by. Why would someone like Youngboy sign a contract that's a fraction of his real earning potential? First of all, let me get this out of the way. I think it's really easy for all of us to say, I would have never signed that contract, but put yourself in a situation where you don't know if you're gonna be relevant 5 years down the road because rappers come and go. You get a $2 million deal offer when you're in a place like that. Yes, I truly believe that most people will take that deal. There's nothing.
That's how they get you, bro. He was in his low spot in the hood, bro. Like, he don't even know how to, like, make it independent. It's crazy.
Wrong with doing it, but it's not a must. That's really the point I'm trying to make here. Now, the other side of this conversation is a lot of rappers blow up once they sign. I think a lot of rappers who are coming up nowadays don't really have that, pace yourself attitude. Obviously, I'm talking about patience here, and I think patience is something there's a lack of in the industry right now. Since the rappers who, blow up most of the time are already signed, you don't want to take the risk of passing up on a contract and end up losing that window of opportunity. This is a problem because I think it creates a scarcity mindset in a lot of rappers. This scarcity mindset comes from them believing that not signing will lead to them not finding success, at least in a major way. But you know what I think? I really don't think there's one window of opportunity unless we're talking, I don't know, dinner with Jay-Z or something. In this social media age, you can create these opportunities for yourself. You don't have to have someone give you one, especially a label, and obviously I'm talking about rappers here, right? But then again, everything I'm talking about can be applied to anyone who's trying to build something with the help of social media. But I digress. Continuing, I'm gonna be honest and say this: if you as a rapper want to make it to the mainstream, most of the time you have to sign. If you don't believe me, let me ask you this: when was the last time you saw an independent rapper getting that Roddy Ricch or DaBaby kind of success? It just doesn't happen. Now obviously that's an example on the extreme side, but you get my point. How come the industry is set up this way though? This is the case because major labels have their foot inside every music industry related door. Once you sign, your chances of blowing up increases by a significant amount. They got all the resources you need to help you get to that next level. A major label to a rapper is pretty much the middleman to the mainstream. Now that next level that I'm talking about is simply not possible as a one-man army, aka an independent rapper. But on the other hand, you also get to keep in mind that they'll help you only if you are a producer. And I'm not talking about no Metro Boomin stuff. I'm talking about someone who gets first results, someone who at least at first appears to be a worthwhile investment and not just a black hole, aka a money pit, because they put in a bunch of money into you with the expectation that they're gonna get it back. Don't forget this, but being signed to a major label comes at a price. Ain't no free meals out here. The money they put into these artists will get recouped one way or the other. As an example, Smoke Perp is a rapper who, as a lot of you know, sold merely 5,000 copies on his Florida Jit album he dropped in June. Now, how exactly does this look from the perspective of his label? What exactly are they thinking when these kinds of numbers come in? What they're thinking is, we can't invest as much resources as we thought into Smoke Perp because the return simply won't be worth it. In an interview with Complex from January of this year, he actually revealed that he wasted about $2 million recording one of his albums. He recorded around
That gotta be cap, bro. I know Smoke Perp ain't wait. I know he ain't spent $2 million on recording an album that did 5,000 sales. That would be dumb as fuck. I understand investing in your craft, bro, but like 2 million? Smoke Perp? No.
around 800 songs for it, which ended up costing a lot of money. He got a Kanye West feature that never ended up getting released. Now those 2 million obviously have to get recouped by the label, and that's on Smoke Perp to deliver. Back to Smoke Perp selling 5,000 copies first week. What a rapper sells during the first week of their album being out is just one way to measure how much in demand they are. I say that to say it's not the end all be all if the numbers are low, but it is an indication of how much people actually mess with you, how much in demand your music actually is. The thing is, when a rapper is on a major label, having that infrastructure backing you up, as in the record label that you're signed to, it comes at a price. For NBA Youngboy, that price is not being able to negotiate his way into owning the rights to his music. And since he's worth 10 times as much as what he really signed for, who exactly is benefiting the most from this situation right here? Is it NBA Youngboy or the label?
Guys just want to deal. Like, even you look at the guys now, that's probably big right now with social media. I just seen they had NBA Youngboy. He's the biggest YouTuber, you know, for his
influencer.
Music.
Wow,
influencers for his music. But think about the deals that this generation is doing.
Yeah.
So he did a deal. I looked at it. If I would have been on his team, he did a deal for $2 million for 5 records. So think about that. You got the money up front. Imagine what they get.
Yeah.
So we have to teach that to the next generation. Look at the big.
Now that was rapper and mogul Master P giving some perspective on NBA Youngboy's record deal. What Master P was pretty much saying is, don't get screwed by signing a contract that doesn't really benefit you in the long run. I think there's a lot of truth to what he's saying because there isn't really a big emphasis on long-term success in the rap game right now. Let me show you some statistics really quickly. Last year, it was reported that 658 artists were signed by major labels in 2017. Now, since those numbers were from 3 years ago, I can almost guarantee that that number has most definitely gone up. Major labels are essentially chewing and spitting out artists one by one because you got to think about it like this. Not every single rapper who signs finds success on a big level. The ones who do end up getting that DaBaby and Roddy Ricch level of success are few. Even if they do, it's about maintaining that level of success, which in this era is close to impossible. What I've noticed is a rapper's wave comes and goes just like the sea. Even someone like Drake hasn't been relevant every single month for the last 2 years, and that's a man who over the span of a decade, if we zoom out and take a look at the big picture, has been relevant for the last 10 years. But even Drake has to adapt and get smarter by making a record that's gonna get hot on TikTok. Yes, I'm talking about Tootsie Slide. But we're seeing more and more rappers who are kind of taking the power back by either staying independent, going independent, or like in NBA Youngboy's case, at least seeking and trying to negotiate their way into ownership of their
He looks so young, bro. Young and dumb.
own music. I think this is the right way to do things. I think someone like Youngboy realizes that his label's support is in fact conditional. He's of course a rapper who has a lot of leverage because his brand is very much in demand. His earning potential is out of this world and his label knows that. That's why they declined that offer he gave them. Now, Coda the Friend is a rapper I've talked about in the past. Now, this guy right here is as independent as you can possibly be. He did an interview back in May where he had a really good perspective on why he's still independent.
Oh,
You've
I thought that was a
remained
picture for a
completely
second, bro.
independent
And
since
the
your initial
thing was
release.
moving
Is
in the
there
back.
anything that has fueled your decision to not sign a major label deal? Well, I enjoy my freedom. I also want my kids to inherit my master's in publishing. I'm trying to put my kids through private school, not some label executive kids. That time is coming to an end. I'm not giving up my hard work to a label so they can benefit from what I've been forced to build on my own. I made it this far, so I might as well keep going. Now, whoa, that's the kind of response, and most importantly of all, mentality I can't do nothing but salute Coda the Friend for.
Facts.
This is a rapper who's clearly made up his mind about why the independent way is the way to go. He's already built up his audience to the point where he can tour overseas and sell out shows all over the
never
world
heard of him,
without being on a major label. His mentality is, why would he sign so the corporations can profit off of what he's built from the ground up and compromise everything he's been working so hard for? Some people might look at what Coda the Friend is saying and think that this is a really extreme way to look at things, but the way I see it is, not everyone wants to introduce a middleman into the picture, because that's exactly what a label can be a lot of the times if you don't sign the best deal possible, which a lot of rappers don't, because they get picked up by the record label right before they're about to make it extremely big, which means they don't have that much leverage in that situation. They have the I'm the lucky one mentality because I'm getting the advance money, which at the end of the day really is a loan the label has to recoup through the profits you end up making. At the end of the day, the label needs the artist more than the artist needs the label, because they don't make the art, you do. They just distribute the art. Now, Tory Lanez is also another rapper who recently went independent. The new Toronto 3 was the last project he dropped under Interscope Records, and ever since a couple months back, he's been a free agent. You might remember that situation I made a video on when he was threatened.
So he not with a label no more. It's weird because that fucking Megan shit happened, or if it did happen or not, bro. Nobody knows, but
to expose his label. I'm almost certain him wanting to get out of the deal had something to do with it. As of right now though, Tory Lanez owns all of his masters and there's no middleman in between his money. Someone like him being independent is such a good move because he's already an established name in the mainstream. There's not really that much a label can do for him at this point that he can't do for himself. As a matter of fact, ever since he became a free agent, I think his entire movement has kind of skyrocketed. That's of course thanks to quarantine radio, but the point is he's doing really good for himself independently. Being on a major label as a rapper has a lot of benefits, let's not say otherwise. In this day and age, if you know how to make some hits, your name is gonna skyrocket, especially if you have that kind of infrastructure backing you up. That's a fact. Just take a look at the boy Jack Harlow. What's Poppin' by Jack Harlow has already been doing extremely well for some time now, but he dropped a remix to the song, which was really fire by the way, and the song featured Tory Lanez, DaBaby, and Lil Wayne. Now look at how fast that song is taking off. You gotta keep in mind, Jack Harlow would have most likely never gotten any of those features if he was independent. But then again, going back to the skyrocketing part, I don't think signing to a label is for everyone. I think a lot of rappers sign because they think that's what they're supposed to do. A lot of the young ones just don't seem to have a vision for their career, and they kind of get caught off guard when they get offered that $2 million deal as advance money, and they're not really aware of the fact that their worth is beyond those $2 million. Like I said earlier in this video, it's really easy for us to say, don't take that money. What I'm trying to say though is, if you're gonna sign, make sure you get the best deal possible. You really don't want to be working hard as hell just to feed your label, especially in your prime years as a young rapper. Rapper or not, you can never get your youth back, period. The absolute last thing you want to do is look back on it and the only thing you did as a signed rapper for the last 4 years was putting out a bunch of albums just to get out of your contract, and that situation could have easily been avoided if you were thinking long term. We're in 2020 though. All the information you need is out there, and that's why I think rappers are finally starting to wake up. That's why NBA YoungBoy is ready to give give up 4 of his albums just to own the rights to his music. That's why Russ is a newly independent rapper. That's why Coda the Friend is refusing to sign to a major label. That's why Tory Lanez is ready to dominate the game while staying independent. I'm predicting that in 2020, you're gonna see more and more rappers not only seeking the ownership of their music, which is of course a step in the right direction, but there's gonna be a big emphasis on the independent path as a rapper. Now, very recently, Russ showed off the amount of money he was earning.
But I always think that they knew what was going on. Like, they already knew what was going on. They was probably just more afraid to speak out or some shit like that. I don't know. I feel like that's what it was. Because you feel, if you, like, it just makes sense, bro. They give you this money. In the contract, it said you got to make this amount of money back for us. So basically, what they're saying is it's really not your money. It's our money that we let you borrow.
During the beginning of his career, obviously he was independent back then. By the way, he did it strictly for inspirational purposes. Some people might think that he's bragging, but I think it's inspiring. If you take a look at the screen right now, as you can see, Russ was eating really damn good, okay? Really good. The point is, you can still get some big bags while not signing that contract. And if anything, this is gonna be the biggest motivator for this new generation of rappers. I think what NBA Youngboy is trying to do and did is a step in the right direction, and hopefully in the future we see more and more rappers waking up. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this entire topic. What do you personally think though? I know I hit on a bunch
of... He said he can't live without watches, bro. You can't live without watches? That's tough.
Of different aspects of this entire signing to a label conversation, but the NBA Youngboy masters thing. Rappers going independent, rappers staying independent, more rappers waking up and realizing that the independent way is a good path. What do you think about all that? Definitely let me know in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion about this.
Facts, bro. I don't know what to say, man. Just I hope they, listen. They at least do something. Bro, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking on my ass right now.